On today's episode of Kilts and Culture with USA Kilts, we try Jameson Stout Edition.
I'm a little whiskey, short and stout.
Drink too much of this, it'll tip you over.
The history of the Gallic lands is one of struggle, punctuated by moments of sheer brilliance.
Tartan is Scotland's gift to the world, and it is your personal heritage story. Howdy do, boys and girls. Welcome to Kilts and Culture. I'm Rocky.
I'm Ian.
It's not Eric. Today on the show, special treat, we have, ta-da, from our friend Rich in Texas, who absolutely knows that Allie's name is not Abby, gave us the Jameson Stout Edition. So it's been a little while since we've done an Irish whiskey on the show. So we're gonna do the Jameson Irish Stout Edition one. All right.
Heck yeah.
Allie, if you want to come collect your glass.
I'm not overly fond of Irish whiskeys as a rule, but this is a little interesting, a little weird. I'm excited to get into it.
Okay. There you go. And while you are here, what tartan do you have on there?
Today I'm wearing Glyndwr.
So she has on the Glyndwr tartan. Thank you. Very nice, Allie. Very nice. All right. Ian, here you go. And what tartan do you have on there?
I have the Old Scotland Tweed.
The Old Scotland.
A-U-L-D. Old.
Yes, indeed. And I have on the brand spanking new blue collar tartan. And we're going to show you a little sneaky peeky of the commercial of this middle of the show. But for now, Allie, why don't you regale us with some tales of the Jameson Stout Edition?
Of course. So Jameson Cask Stout Edition offers a complex and interesting flavor profile that is both a continuation of Jameson's smooth, easy drinking character and a unique twist with the influence of Irish stout. This is a triple distilled Irish whiskey aged in stout beer barrels, giving it a richer, darker, and sometimes chewy mouthfeel.
Chewy.
I love my whiskey chewy.
I really like to eat my drinks.
Does whiskey come with pulp, like orange juice?
Shouldn't. It really shouldn't.
It is kind of concerning. All right. So, what do we have
Bit of a hazy whiskey.
I like the nose of this.
Yeah, it does smell Irish.
Yeah.
But it smells a little sweet, too.
Yeah.
It smells sweet and almost like a chocolatey-ish kind of
Getting like
note
citrusy.
to it.
Interesting.
Okay.
Like
Allie,
a chocolate-covered orange.
what is the nose notes? for
On the
whiskey?
nose, it could be called classic Jameson with green apples, pears, lime zest, and fresh hay. The stout influence comes in with mild spiciness.
Okay.
Okay. I like the nose. That tastes good. It smells good. All right. For the taste. It's got a little kick, a little spicy to it. Now we
It's
just
nice
opened it up. We do whiskeys a disservice when we literally crack them open and then drink right away. We don't have to give it a chance to open up and kind of gas off a little bit. So I'm pouring a couple drops of water in it. It'll kind of help with that. What do we have in the taste?
The taste includes notes of cocoa, toffee, hops, and butterscotch layered over classic Jameson notes of sweet shortbread, honey, green apples, and pears.
It's a lot. It's a lot of things going on there.
Yeah.
Other things.
I'm not tasting hops. I was hoping for that. I was hoping to get not that stouts are really hoppy beers, but
I'm getting a little bitter kind of taste.
okay. And that could be hops.
And I can't tell whether it's because of the Irishness of it versus Scottish whiskey, or if it's Scottish whiskey, for those who are going to yell at me for saying Scottish too fast. I can't tell. It's just a little bitter.
I haven't had regular Jameson in a really long time. I almost wish we'd had some here
Side
to do
by
like
side.
side-by-side comparison.
Yeah,
This
that's not
feels
the
a
show.
lot smoother than like the original Jameson, the regular Jameson. Definitely a little bit of like
It is
that
smooth.
appleiness, like you were just chewing on an apple skin or something after
Yeah.
peeling it.
Okay.
Yeah, a
Getting the
little bitter
apple.
in that way.
Okay.
Overall,
don't-
this is a win for me.
If you handed me this and just told me it was Jameson, I don't think I would catch that it was something weird. You know?
Yeah.
I'm not tasting stout.
I'll say this: maybe the bitter, like a bitter apple kind of flavor to it.
Yeah, like
Maybe
a
go with
green
that.
apple.
And not
Like
that
Granny Smith.
Yeah, and not that aging in a stout barrel necessarily means it tastes like a stout. Sometimes it just adds
Yeah.
a unique, interesting profile.
Yeah. Maybe I get a little bit of chocolatey on the end, on the finish as well. Now that I'm just kind of letting it sit for a minute. Getting a touch of that, but not a lot. A little bit of the stout chocolatiness.
I'm almost getting more of like a ginger. Like this almost tastes like whiskey mixed with ginger ale. Obviously stronger than a mixed drink, but
Okay. Allie, what is the finish?
The finish is a pleasant, sweet trail off with notes of butterscotch, bitter hop, and cocoa flavors, with imbibing from the stout casks a little bit.
Okay. Okay.
I can see maybe some bitter cocoa, but it's very light.
Yeah. All right. Let's give it a rating. Scale of 1 to 10, including decimal. Get in there with the decimal. What do you give? What do you give Jameson Stout Edition?
I think I would give it a 5 or a 6. I think I can sit on a whole number here. Jameson, for me, is a middle of the road, and this is slightly elevated. Maybe 6.
Okay. So 6.0. Ian.
I'm going 4.0. Not as exciting as I was hoping for.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I'm not generally an Irish whiskey fan as a rule. So
Agreed. I'll go 5.2. It's a little bit better than the normal Jamesons, in my estimation, probably. Again, we don't have it side by side, but it's nothing spectacular. So
yeah. Not bad though.
yeah, not
It's smooth.
bad.
I like it. I would drink this.
Yeah, if it was at a party and that's the only whiskey that they had, I'd have at it.
No complaints.
But outside of that, I wouldn't go out in my way to get it. So
Agreed.
yeah, so that's where we are with the Jameson whiskey. Thank you again to Rich from Texas for donating a bottle of whiskey. All right, boys and girls, as always, please load in the questions, whatever kilt or culture questions you have down in the comments. We are here with your humble servants to answer whatever questions you have. While we wait for people to start loading questions, Ian, I want to do a quick two-part housekeeping.
Let's do it.
First, part 1. There's 2 parts to part 1.
Part 1 of part 2.
Yes. Obviously, everybody knows that we have our Kilts and Culture community over on Facebook. We also just launched a brand new Kilts and Culture community on Reddit. So we have a subreddit for Kilts and Culture. We also did another subreddit separately for USA Kilts. So if you go to Reddit and you search for USA Kilts or Kilts and Culture, you're going to see 2 new subreddits. Those are run by us. The USA Kilts one is more for product-y type stuff, and the Kilts and Culture one is more for an actual community to talk about whatever you want to talk about. Second bit of housekeeping. We're premiering our interview, my interview with Jamesy from the band Almanac.
Nice.
It took a very emotional turn. You see a side of Jamesy that you've not seen before. He goes into, along with, history of the band and life on the road for 20 years and all the kind of things that entails. He also went into his journey with mental health, and it became a very, very deep emotional interview. Something I'm very proud to have been a part of, and I know he, really, really wants to get a specific message out there. So, if you're around next Wednesday or after that, check out my interview with Jamesy over on the YouTubes. So
Something not to be missed.
indeed. All right, Ian. Question number 1.
Let's get into our first question.
Yes.
So, our old friend Jake Sargent, I shouldn't say old friend, he's quite young. I don't know why I said that. From Facebook, he asked us, you've talked about the appropriateness of brown ghillie brogues for day wear, but not for formal events. But is there a good way to dress down black brogues for non-black tie events?
Yeah, just put them on. So for regular day wear kind of thing, the footwear, the accessories, everything kind of blends together into the outfit. So if it's a little bit dressier, I would say a black pair of brogues is fine, or a brown pair of brogues. Either one, completely fine for day wear.
Yeah.
I would say, for me personally, I like to match the sporran to whatever the color the shoes are. For the rest of the outfit, that really dictates how formal or casual the outfit is. So if I was going to wear, let's say a polo or just a dress shirt with the sleeves rolled up and no tie, just collar undone like this, and a pair of like a regular pair of kilt hose and flashes, I could wear ghillie brogues. I could wear a pair of black, just plain black Oxfords, and black sporran and black belt and buckle. That's 100% fine. As in the same way that a brown sporran and brown shoes would be fine as well. Ian.
Yeah, I'd say if you're coming over from the pants world, if there's any situation which you'd wear black dress shoes, you can also wear the ghillie brogues. Obviously, if you're wearing a t-shirt, it's a little funky to wear ghillie brogues, I think. But yeah, I mean, if you're going to an afternoon wedding and you're wearing tweed, there's no reason black ghillie brogues wouldn't work, as long as it fits in with the rest of your accessories.
Yeah. Agreed.
Yeah.
That's a pretty short one.
I like brown a little bit better for that myself, but yeah, no reason black doesn't work.
Yeah, for ghillie brogues, for any shoes, for day wear. Black is easy. It's more versatile than the brown are. So I'd say if you have black, it's fine for day or for formal, or day or formal, day or evening wear. Brown, daytime only. I prefer brown for day, but black is just as good. So yeah, hope that helps. Miss Allie, what do we have on the interwebs there? Do we have anyone asking questions from the great wide world?
Okay, from Paul Kilgore, we have, what was your first ever kilt?
What was our first ever kilt? Let's go reverse order. Allie, we'll bring you in for this one as well. What was your first ever kilt?
Ooh, you might be ashamed of me here, but my first ever true kilt was from USA Kilts when I
So
started.
ashamed.
Where's the shame bell?
Yes.
My first ever kilt was from here, made by Mac, I believe, and it was sterling yellow.
Okay.
My absolute first favorite yellow, baby.
Mini,
Okay.
Mitty, Maxi, what are we talking about
Oh,
here?
mini, of course.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. So, and what was the reason you went with sterling yellow as your first tartan?
Just before I started here, I was about to go to a ministry concert, and I was looking for that color scheme for my outfit. Unfortunately, I had to miss it, but to remember it fondly anyways. The sterling yellow just spoke to me as like that really grungy, acid colors of what ministry would perform in their shows, like a lot of white, striking, stroby, and yellow. You know, the atmosphere for them is, I think, acidic would be a good word for it, and that's what that kilt reminded me of.
Did Aesop Rock's mother not let you go to the concert? Is that what happened?
No.
Sorry, deep cut.
No.
Mine was going to be, did Jesus build your hot rod? And was it a love affair between Jesus and your hot rod?
Yes.
Yes, indeed. Ministry song for those who are wondering. Yes. Good band.
For the youths.
Yes, for the Utes, for the old Utes who like industrial music from the 80s and 90s. All right, Ian.
My first one, I believe, was made by you. It was an Anderson 5-yard kilt for my wedding. Would have been the first day I wore it. I tried it on before that, but that was the first time I wore it out proper.
Okay, so you held out for your wedding night to wear your kilt.
Yep.
We're going weird. Right out of the gates.
Doesn't fit anymore. Don't wear it anymore.
Okay.
I later realized that I'm not connected to the Anderson clan of Scotland in any way, but still nice.
Okay. So, and now your actual clan connection
Would be Robertson.
would be Robertson. Okay. So my first tartan kilt. The question was first tartan kilt, right? Okay.
First kilt. It didn't say
first kilt.
specifically tartan.
Okay, first kilt. My first one was I bought two simultaneously. I bought a.
You've always been one to go big or go home.
Even at the beginning, I bought a because I couldn't decide. I bought a solid color black Amerikilt, and I bought a R.I.P. to Amerikilt, and I bought a Irish Revenge sport kilt, so a universal tartan sport kilt. So those were my first two actual kilts that I owned. I felt weird getting a clan tartan, so I started off with a universal and a solid black one just to kind of dip my toe in the water, so to speak. Well, dip two toes in the water because I got two. But that's where I started, and then kind of my passion for it grew from there. But yeah, a little bit.
For the record, this is a strategy we encourage with all of our customers. If you can't decide between two tartans, just get them both.
Yeah.
I did it.
Can't decide if you want to do a utilikilt or you want to do a tartan kilt, get one from each of us. It's great.
Indeed. Cool. Excellent. Ian.
Yeah, let's get to a question from Timothy Jones 2683 on YouTube. He wants to know what beer, domestic or imported, brand, would you like to collaborate with to create a kilt? I love this question. This is a great question.
Okay. When this one came in, my first instinct, partially my capitalist instinct kicked in and said, Guinness. It has to be Guinness. I want to do a Guinness because they would market the heck out of the thing if they did it right. So I kind of went into like, but would you want to do for this? Would you want to say, no, it has to be, Guinness colors or Guinness brand colors, which are, the beer color, the creamy head plus the body of the stout, and then like a red stripe for the Arthur Guinness signature. Would you stick to those colors or would you go beyond?
Depends on what they were trying to accomplish. Like obviously this would be a bit of a partnership. Maybe it's part of the launch of a new...
No, Guinness knows me so well, and they trust me implicitly to design whatever I want for them. So it's obviously it's a partnership, but it's because that so trusted. So they, I guess they have the toucan, and that's kind of like rainbow colory.
Well, if you're gonna have one can, you might as well have two cans.
Exactly. I have not drank enough whiskey to handle Ian's dad
Also,
jokes.
you shouldn't have it from the can. You should get it on draft.
Yes. Oh, he's just doubling down. So would we do those like straight colors? I think it would be kind of a boring tartan.
Potentially.
It was just that. It would be too on the nose almost.
I mean, Spark doesn't have a lot more colors than that. You could work within the gradient to make it more interesting.
But I feel like they wouldn't. I feel like for Guinness specifically, it is so. Well, I was gonna say there's like after a Guinness is set for a few minutes, there's that firm head on it and the like the black body. You could do like a gradient kind of effect for the cascading. So that could kind of work to show some motion in the cascade. I'm doubling. I'll double back. And I think I could do that.
Okay.
But I don't think Guinness would be my choice.
Okay.
If it was like with a brand that I want to go with, who would I do? I'll let you go. So Guinness was my knee-jerk reaction.
Not like a Belhaven or a Scottish brand.
Now, Guinness would just, like, Tennent's or something like that. Guinness would just, they would throw so much money at it, it wouldn't be funny. They would market the crap out of it.
Yeah.
But putting the capitalist instincts to the side, what would your brand be?
I'm definitely not as much of a capitalist as you are. I could answer this question in so many ways because I'm very much a beer drinker. My first instinct, I wanted to go with some of my favorite local breweries like Trouble's End, which I know you're a big fan of as well, or Human Robot or a Well Crafted. These are all pretty small breweries, and none of them really do Scottish beers either, so I don't think it makes sense for any of those in particular. So my next thought is to go with an American brand that's definitely doing something Scottish. Like there's the Kilt Lifter brand beer is pretty popular from somewhere out west. I forget who makes it. That could be interesting.
There's some Scotch ales as well.
There
like
are.
Sly Fox does some and things like that.
Well, the one that came to mind, that probably the Scottish ale that I've had most from an American company, that is, would be the Jolly Scot from Appalachian Brewing Company. So that one would be a good answer too.
Okay.
I think my actual answer, though, to kind of hit the right balance between size but being local to us, would be Trogues. They don't currently do any Scottish ales or Scotch, wee heavy style ales, but maybe now's the time.
Okay.
Yeah,
But
maybe this would be part of a big launch for a new beer, and having a tartan to go with it. And I think Trogues has the size and the regional, push for it to be worthwhile, but
Cachet.
also being local enough to be interesting and exciting for me.
Okay. If you're going to be localish and big, obviously Yingling is the one that kind of have to do.
I can't see them being fun enough with this, though.
I don't disagree. They're kind of they're not. If you're gonna say, like, we'll define fun as trying new things and doing a bunch of different stuff, which obviously is very much up your alley.
Yeah, sometimes Yingling will do some new things, but pretty rarely and pretty boring.
Yeah, I would say possibly New Trail would be another Pennsylvania beer.
Are they Pennsylvania? I thought they were Colorado.
No, I'm pretty sure New Trail is like center Pennsylvania.
Okay.
I think. Don't quote me on it. So New Trail.
I'm not certain.
I've liked Victory for a long
Yeah,
time.
Victory and Trogues are similar in size.
Yeah. New Trail is up and coming. Allie, look this up. What?
Yeah.
Where is New Trail Beer
Trail's been around for a while.
located? I want to say it's Central Pennsylvania because my buddy works. One of my guys on my hockey team does a ton of stuff with beer, and I think he said they're localish. So I do New Trail. Yes, Allie?
Williamsport, PA.
Okay.
Nice. Good.
You win this round.
I would say they have like a woodsy kind of vibe. So doing something with New Trail akin to like the Back to Nature Tartan or something similar-esque to what you have on there. I could see, like tans and greens and and browns, those kind of colors work within their color palette. Corporate logo speaking. I almost want to do like a specific like hoppy beer thing and use the hops as like a bright green kind of within it. I don't know. There's a lot of different stuff you could do.
That.
Yeah, a lot
kind
of
of what I like
angles.
about Trogs too is like the artwork on some of their bottles and cans over the years has been so iconic. They really work with local artists and they have art competitions and things like that to design things. You could almost do like a whole range of tartans for like all the different, flagship beers potentially. That could be fun.
Who's the brand? They have like very, very avant-garde like animal kind of things on there. They have the blood orange. They have one called, and you'll have to bleep this after the fact, probably Raging Bitch.
Ooh, I know exactly.
Flying Dog? That's not right.
I really like their beers too. I should know.
Yeah, they're good. They'll kick you in the butt. That blood orange is very, very good, but it's like 8%.
It's something
crazy.
Dog, right?
Yeah, Ian, you were right. Flying Dog.
Flying Dog
Yeah.
brand? Okay.
Yeah. Okay. So Flying Dog would be another one I'd be interested in. So yeah, there's a lot of really good brands out there. Allie, you obviously want to jump in with something here. You're very excited.
I do. Yeah, I picked out a brewery. I bet you didn't think I would.
I know you, Allie.
I actually don't like beer very much. I am like strictly a stout girl. Occasionally I'll try something a little off the wall, just, because I'll try anything. As far as like beer, like I'll try it. I'll try it.
Ian, shut up. Keep your mouth shut. I still am the owner of the company. There is still an HR issue. So you get too far down the path you're about to.
I'm so
Allie,
sorry.
I'd love to hear what you're into.
brewery I would pick?
With beers.
Cheshire Brewery in Philadelphia, PA. I would absolutely want to go local. They do a lot of work with communities surrounding Philadelphia, Pottstown being one of them.
Okay.
Nice.
And I love their logo. It is a Cheshire cat, obviously, and it's green and purple. And I would really like to, go wild with those in a tartan. See what that would look like.
Before, so
Green and purple. So Isle of Skye, boom, done.
Yep.
There you go.
Spirit
really?
Scotland.
Well, yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. Everybody out there, tell me in the comments what's your favorite beer brand and why should we do a tartan for them? And then tag them because
Why not?
they should have us design a tartan. Yeah. Allie,
Yeah.
how's it going, Allie?
Going well. Would you like a question from the feed?
I'd love one.
Excellent. Okay. So let's see. From Andrew the Church Piper, which weight of wool cloth is best for a great kilt and why? 11 ounce, 13 ounce, 16 ounce, tweed.
Andrew was just in the store the
Your
other day.
thoughts?
Yeah. Isn't that what the kids do now? I don't know.
I don't know.
No idea what you're talking about.
You guys don't have.
Only Rocky and the youths would know.
Yes, indeed. You're not hip. Like us.
More of a hippie.
Fair.
A long hair.
Damn kids. And their rock and roll music and hula hoops.
Get off my lawn. The average hair length on this show is a lot longer than usual.
That's fair. Anything over 0. So, the what was the question again now?
Which weight of wool cloth is best for a great kilt and why?
Right. So I would say it really depends on the use case. If you're going to be wearing it indoors or outdoors, how you're going to actually be using it. I'm not a personal great kilt wearer, but if I was, that is probably the case where I would do a lighter weight. I would do 11 ounce or 13, but I would go in there. I probably wouldn't do 16. Now, if I'm out bushcrafting and I want to use it to actually reenact, for lack of a better term, going out there, using it as a sleeping blanket, using it as a cover, using it as a cloak and that kind of thing out in the elements, then and like for overnight type missions.
Especially time of year when it's cool.
Yeah. Then I would say 16 ounce, but for summer wear, for Ren Fair, just day wear kind of thing where it's going to be hot, 11 ounce.
Yeah. I don't think there's one distinctly correct answer here.
Yeah.
For sure. Opinions vary. It depends on your use, depends on, your preferences. I tend to run hot, so I'm amenable to the argument that you should have a lighter weight material, but I also do come into it with a little bit of a tailored kilt bias. So I'm a little bit more of a great kilt wearer than you are. I almost wore one on the show today, and then got lazy this morning. But I have a 16-ounce one. It is not a lot of material relative for great kilts because I run hot. I like my 13-ounce better.
You certainly do run hot, Ian.
Thanks, Rocky. I wear my 13-ounce one more often because it is more comfortable to wear, even though it is a little bit more material. For some reason, I can't bring myself to want to get an 11-ounce one. I think it's my tailored kilt bias. I don't think it's based on anything. Because I know multiple guys who wear great kilts on the regular. They post in some of the kilt groups online on the regular, and they insist 11-ounce is the best. I know one guy who will even say, if I can get lighter, I will on occasion. It's pretty rare to find much lighter, but...
Here, you're gonna sit on the Freudian couch here for a minute.
Uh-oh.
What's on your mind?
My hat.
I'm gonna delve deep into your psyche. I'm guessing, just guessing, the reason you have this bias you need to overcome something to do with your mother. But the actually going into it, I think it's because you started off with 13 and 16 ounce kilts, and you figured that, well, I'm going to wear a great kilt, so it's going to get the cloth. And if I don't like it, I can always make a regular tailored kilt out of it. And if you go 11 ounce, you won't be happy with the tailored kilt out of it. Maybe.
I think it's just that I'm so biased to making things out of 13 and 16 ounce. And then in advising our customers, I'm always saying, no, you don't want the 11 ounce 5-yard kilt that you think you do. So when I got into great kilting relatively recently, just a little over a year ago, despite being a kilt wearer for getting closer to 20 years than I want to admit, it's hard to break that thought process. And I don't think I'm going to want to turn one of my great kilts into a tailored kilt. I think I know what, like, it's a low enough risk for me. I'm not paying retail price for cloth for one thing. And the first time I put on a great kilt last August, when I first went, I think I could do this a little bit more often, it wasn't my own piece.
Okay.
It was technically a piece that was intended to be made into a kilt for you. Okay. And it was too hot, and it was 5 yards, and it was Tartan Tweed. But I had a piece for myself that I had planned to make into a tailored kilt that was 4 yards, a little bit less, and I've just been wearing it as a great kilt ever since.
Okay.
And I'd worn that enough times that by the time I got my Pacific Northwest piece in 5 yards, I knew what I wanted and I knew what I was going to do with it.
Okay.
So, could I do an 11-ounce one? I suppose.
Would you do PV? Because it's closer to 11 ounce, 11 and a half, 12 ounce kind of thing?
I don't know if I would. And I can't give you a good reason why.
Okay.
I don't know. I like wool over PV. I'm a little bit of a wool snob.
Yeah. So what we're saying is Ian's a snob.
Yeah. I think we've done this bit before, actually.
We didn't do the Freud bit though.
If there was a really exciting tartan that was available in PV and not in wool, I could see. And if for some reason I felt like it would make a better great kilt than a tailored kilt, I could do it.
Okay.
But right now, there's just a lot fewer PV tarts than there are wool ones.
Yeah, I don't think I would have an issue with 11 ounce. I'm fine suggesting 11 ounce. I think, frankly, it'll work better and cooler, and it has a little bit softer drape to it.
I should want that more.
Yeah, especially for a great kilt. Like I wouldn't want 16 ounce for a great kilt, especially if I'm wearing it like up over the shoulder because it's too stiff compared to, because you're not ironing it in. Yeah. It's just you want it to drape and be more natural and flowy. So I would 100% say I would probably, if I were to ever do a great kilt, I would probably start with 11 ounce.
Fair enough.
I would probably start there and then work my way up if I got a second one.
And if I were to try an 11 ounce great kilt, I probably wouldn't hate it. I'd probably find it just fine. I just haven't brought myself to even attempt it.
Yeah. Okay. Let me know in the comments. We should do a poll. Can we do a poll live? I don't know. We should do a poll. If we can do a poll, do a poll. Should Ian get an 11 ounce great kilt?
And if so, what tartan?
If so, what tartan? No, you can only do one thing in a poll. Yes or no?
Make a comment.
All right, fine. Yes, comment. Do things.
I mean, I've got to have something to ignore.
That's fair. All right. Was that you or was that Ian?
That
last one.
That was me.
That was you.
Yes.
Ian, give me a question.
So this is from Dissy from Reddit.
Reddit?
So we did take questions from Reddit this time. Rocky mentioned earlier we're doing stuff in Reddit now.
Go find the Reddit communities for
Yes.
Kilts and Culture and USA Kilts. Come join us on Reddit.
In particular, the Kilts and Culture Reddit's already been a little bit active, so please join us there.
I was like weirdly pleasantly surprised how many people, like I just made like a passing comment on a Facebook story or something that we had a Reddit subreddit over there for Kilts and Culture, and I was surprised the number of people who were like boom, like right on it.
Right on.
So excellent, keep it going.
So Dicey from Reddit. I generally wear a boot similar to Thursday's Captain model or combat boot style when wearing my kilts. If not wearing hose, is it better to push the socks down to the top of the boot or pull up to where they naturally sit?
Okay, so low, let's say, don't lift your foot on camera. 8-inch boots. So nothing like super tall, nothing super short, kind of in the middle, but your crew socks stick above like your normal, like gold toe socks or whatever they are, stick above the top of the boot. Do you scrunch them down or do you keep them pulled up? It depends on the height of the boot. Like my combat boots are about 10 inches. So those, it
That's
sticks
just the
up.
heel.
So for the top of the socks, they stick up about that much above the top of the combat boots. Those I'm actually okay keeping pulled all the way up. For like shorter, like Thursday Captain boots or things like that, I'm a little bit more scrunch them down. I want to see about that much total above the top of the boot. So if you pull them all the way up and keep them taut, it's going to end up being like 4 inches, 5 inches, 6 inches above. So to me, I'd rather scrunch it down a little bit. Ian.
I don't think there's a firm rule here. I mean, kind of maybe just try it both ways and look in the mirror and see what you're feeling. I'm more of a scrunch down kind of a guy.
Yeah.
I'm wearing that exact style of boot right now. Actually, I'm wearing some House of Cheviot hiking socks. I am scrunched down.
Yeah.
Tends to be more my move.
Now, I think going to kilt hose, it's either or.
Yeah.
You can, if I want to wear my kilt hose all the way up, if I'm wearing a pair of, again, like Thursday Captain boots, this is not a plug for Thursdays. There are plenty of other
Unless
good
they want to
brands out there.
sponsor us.
I will not bow to any sponsor.
If they want to give us money or a lot of free boots, I'm fine. But not the day-night soles, for the love of God. No, put the regular freaking soles. I hate day-night soles. For those who are boot people, you'll understand what I mean. So for socks or kilt hose for 8-inch boots or 6 or 8-inch boots, I would much prefer up or down. I think there's a lot more play to it. If you're going to scrunch them down, no flashes. They're just going to end up falling off. But if it's pulled up, yes, flashes or garter ties. Agree with that? Yes
More
or
or
no?
less. I would say it might depend on what the rest of my outfit is. Like,
Yeah.
if I'm wearing a proper dress shirt in any way, then I'm definitely going to want them up.
Yes.
I'm wearing more of a linen shirt today. It's pretty casual, so scrunching down might be fine. I'm not a hose scrunch down kind of guy. I've never done it. Some people do. I'm not saying it's wrong. It's just not my taste.
Yeah.
If I'm going to wear a scrunch down hose, I'll just wear regular socks.
Agreed-ish. If like for what I have on today, like a explorer-y kind of shirt, I don't know. I'm gonna run around
Fly
Africa.
fishing.
Yeah, exactly. Fly fishing or run around Africa with a pith helmet. You're gonna have to put a pith helmet on me in post, pretty please.
We don't have filters on here?
No. So yes, for this type of shirt, I could see, because it's a button-down shirt, I could see kilt hose up or
pretty
kilt hose
casual.
down. Same like with what you have on. Linen shirt, I could see kilt hose up or down, like scrunched or not. T-shirt, if you're gonna wear kilt hose, scrunch down 100%. Dress shirt, you're gonna up 100%. I think there's like a weird sliding scale where certain things overlap for up or down, but other shirts, no, it's one or the other.
Yeah,
Agree?
I'd agree with that.
Okay. We agree. And really, our opinions are really all that matters. So, at least here.
They keep coming back for more opinions from us, so
That's
that
fair.
must be
That's
true.
fair. Yeah. Or they're just leaving hate comments. That's fine. Leave hate comments too. That's fine as well.
Everything feeds the algorithm.
Absolutely. Allie, what do we have out there on the interwebs?
Okay. Sorry, my scroll tool went a little bananas there. All right, from Wolf Warden, I am wondering about adding a pin to my scally cap. I'm thinking of a clan pin, but it could also be a fandom pin. Is that okay? And if so, how do I deal with the pin back poking me in the head inside the hat?
Sure. Adding a pin to a scally cap, 100% approved. Hat pins, or like pins like this for scally caps or for hats similar to this, are not typically that big. So if you look at it, closely, it's probably maybe this is actually a touch big. Is our logo pin. This is about the size of a quarter. I would say nickel to quarter is about the diameter of a hat pin. A full-on cap badge, for my money, is too big for a scally cap. It works.
I think he even said kilt pin, right?
Did he say kilt pin or just said cap pin?
Either way, they're both very large.
Yeah, kilt pin, no, hard stop. To me, I don't even like kilt pins on anything but a kilt. A big long sword pin, like on a lapel of a jacket, anything like, nope, hard stop, no, stop, get out.
Agreed.
Cap badge would be okay on a jacket, not on a hat that's not specifically a Glengarry or a Balmoral.
Right.
It's a slightly smaller pin for those. Now I have like Scottish flag pins or American Scottish flag crossed pins. I have a thistle pin. I have a pin from Inverness. I have a pin from Lefroy. I actually have a Lefroy pin. I've used those kind of things as either lapel or hat pins, but they're not big. They have to be subtle. If it becomes too big, it's too much of a look at me thing, not a subtle accent to the outfit.
Yeah.
Ian.
I'd agree with that overall. And now I want to ask you, because you do wear pins on your hats. I never have. Is it pretty important, the placement? Because there's a little bit of a cavity in the hat right there, right? Like if you put it further back, that would absolutely be poking you in the dome.
Yeah. I put it, this one's actually even a little bit more forward. This is a like a performance fabric kind of thing, and when I put the pin through there, it just spins like a freaking helicopter. So I put it right in a seam where the fabric is actually doubled up so it doesn't spin. But for most of my caps, it's here or a touch back. I like it towards the side, but not on the side, because you're right, it's going to end up the butterfly back or the back of the pin ends up kind of like poking you in the head a little bit.
Scally cap, there's a little bit of a cavity there.
Yeah, so scally, there's a cavity towards the front, so it's like 2 o'clock position on my head, 1:30 position. That's ideal. You can do it on the side, but yeah, you got to suffer for your art a little bit. If it is a more of a newsboy, more of a wider scally kind of cap, where this is more form fitting. But if it's a not wider brim, but if it's a wider, it goes off like mushrooms out the side of the head a little bit, then there's less of a problem there as well.
It's a little less common to put pins on those styles of hats, I feel, though. No?
A little bit, not too bad. But like if it's a baseball cap or something like form fitting to the head, it's much more difficult to find a good placement for it.
Yeah.
That's not going to poke you.
If you really wanted to display your clan loyalty through a pin on your hat, more so than the kilt pin or the cap badge, we do sell lapel pins that go on like the lapel of a jacket.
Yes.
You could totally put that on the side of your skull, or if you could find a saltier flag or something like that. You said fandom. No reason you can't do that. I know people who do it. It just depends on how loud it is. Like if it's tie-dye or wild colors, neon, glow in the dark, and you have a more subdued kilt. I mean, if you're doing it that casually, it maybe isn't that critical of a choice, but consider having a couple different pins that you change out if you're the type of person who gets really geeky about like matching the colors of everything.
Yes. I had in my office, I had I found a company in the UK that does punk rock and ska like cap badge pins or cap hat pins. So I have like 2 or 3 ska ones. I have an Oi one. I have a Cocksparrer one. A few different bands. And they're different colors. Some are black and white, which work with anything. I have some that are red. So there's a few different ones that you can do. Yeah, I'd say consider the color if you're trying to match the kilt outfit and the rest of the stuff, but you don't necessarily have to. I'm not a big fan of having like 27 hat pins on all at the same time. Again, I think it kind of detracts from the outfit. It's too look at me here and then look at the kilt here. It's too many things going on. So
make your hat too heavy too.
So
Like
I'd
if
say
you're doing like one of those like battle jackets with patches all over it, maybe that's not the end of the world.
correct. That would be fine. But on a hat, it's a much smaller surface area.
sure.
So just one.
You start running out of room where they'll actually fit without poking you in the head.
Yeah. So I'd say, one or two, maybe. If they're small enough, two. If they're a little bit bigger, like this one's a quarter-ish size, maybe one. So, yeah. It's a lot of talk about hat pins, but hat pins are underutilized. I think hat pins are underappreciated and underutilized. A little bit of both. Because you can wear it as a lapel badge. You can wear it on punk. Like, you can wear it as a lapel badge on a dress blazer, on a suit jacket. You can wear it as on your Argyll or Tweed jacket, something like that. You can wear it on your hat, or you can wear it on a leather punk rock jacket. So it really has a good breadth of areas and places you can wear it for. I wouldn't say levels of formality, because you're not going to be super dressed up with a lapel badge, but it's still smart day wear all the way down to going to a Dropkick Murphy show. So
I wouldn't actually wear one of these pins on my hat because I wouldn't want to wear a hat and disappoint all the ladies in covering up these beautiful locks.
I have light reflective issues on mine, so I have to wear a hat on the show. I don't want to blind you all. So, all right, Ian.
All right, I've got a question here from @65corvair on YouTube. How do folks store their flashes? I have my garter ties on a slacks hanger where I can easily scan for what colors will go with what I'm putting together. What about flashes? Right now I have them clipped in a kilt hanger, but that's not efficient as only 4 pairs per hanger, 4 sets.
Okay.
So yeah, he must have a lot of sets of flashes. Works fine if you only have 4 pairs.
Yeah. So I'll start with I'll start with my actual answer, which is I shove them all in a drawer, and then I just dig through for the one that I actually need. That's my actual answer. They're fine laying flat in the drawer. I don't need them all super organized within the closet. That said, if I were going to be much more organized than I am, I would take my kilt flashes in tartan, and I would hang them over the neck of the hanger. Mm-hmm. So I would keep the flashes that match the kilt with the kilt.
Sounds like he's trying to make choices, though, so he's clearly talking about solids.
Agreed. So if I had multiple colors of solid color flashes, I would probably just buy a couple kilt hangers. If I only have 4, how many colors of pairs of flashes do you need? Like red.
Apparently is enough that one kilt hanger's not doing the job.
I know. If you have 8, but that's 2 hangers, I don't think that's the end of the world. But if I didn't want to specifically do a kilt hanger for the clips, then I would do a necktie hangery thing that I have. I'll have to find a picture of it after the fact and add this in. It's basically a hanger, and then it's a wire thing that goes down and then has like a bunch of branches, horizontal branches off of it, and you just hang like a 20 or 30 neckties on the thing. I would do that for flashes. I don't know how many you could get on there, how neatly you can get them on there, but I'd probably do that if I was trying to save space and I wanted to save more than 3 hangers worth of space. But those are my thoughts on it. Ian.
Yeah, my actual answer is similar to yours. I have a drawer. I have a bed that's got like drawers in the front of it, and I've got one that's just flashes and garter ties and such. Sometimes I'm having a hard time finding the ones I'm looking for, though, so I can appreciate the dilemma here. It rubs me the wrong way to think of doing it on the hanger like he's described, just because I have very limited closet space. Sounds like he might have plenty. He's just willy-nilly hanging his flashes. Rich guy with his big closet. Yeah. I think if closet is truly the best place for your flashes, because maybe you have limited drawer space, maybe like a regular, plastic hanger with a bunch of clothespins, or even using clothespins to supplement the 4 clips on the kilt hanger, so you get a little bit more in a row there.
Okay.
That, or I don't know, maybe are we about to announce, Rocky, the 8-clip kilt hanger, the deluxe super edition?
Yes, it's 2 kilt hangers duct taped together.
We'll use Gorilla Tape to make it look nice.
And you charge 3 times the price.
He said he was a capitalist.
Now, the other thing I would think is if you don't have too many, perhaps one of the let's say I have 3 sporrans, and like 6 pair of kilt hose, and 8 or 10 pair of flashes. Maybe like one of the short flat bins, like we get ours from IKEA kind of thing. Like you can slide them under the bed.
That's where I was going to go next.
Let's just do that for all your kilt stuff, and like leave that in the bottom of the closet or in the shelf above your stuff.
I used to do that before we got a nicer bed that had like storage solutions built into it. I had one of those Rubbermaid containers that slid under the bed, and that's where all my extra kilt stuff was.
Yeah. So I think that would be a good option as well.
Yeah.
I mean, it keeps all your stuff kind of compact. If you have to share a closet with your wife or your husband or whatever, maybe that keeps it out of the way. If you have a closet with 2 layers, so like a top and a bottom hanger kind of thing in the closet, most of them are going to be more than 24 inches. Like if it's the bottom layer is 30 inches off the ground, that's 24 plus 6. So maybe there's enough room for like one of those tubs to slide underneath your kilts if you have a lot of kilts in the bottom of your closet.
Yeah.
I think that could be a viable solution.
And I wouldn't be surprised if there's like other types of hanger solutions if you just search around online, or even like one of those like back of the door shoe organizers might be a little overkill. But if you've got other shoes and other things you want to put in it, maybe there's a row or 2 dedicated to your flashes. Feels a little overkill.
Yeah, it feels overkill for flashes. But
I've got sliding doors on my closet, so it wouldn't really work.
I do like the back of the door shoe thing for kilt hose if you roll them up and put like 2 pairs in each one, or for
especially if you're trying to see the colors really well in a way that's harder to do in a drawer.
Yep, or sporrans. That's great for those as well. So, okay, we need to California Closets by USA Kilts. We need to. That's another collab we have to do.
Yeah, there you go.
What
Tartan would you design for
them?
them?
Yes,
it would just be all white, wouldn't it?
I worked for a closet company for a very, very brief period. Yes, horrible job. So anyway, all right. So yeah, that's our suggestions for your closet and storage of flashes and stuff.
Yeah.
Also, the necktie hanger thingy works well for belts as well.
Yeah.
Put it on there as well. So, all right. Allie.
All right. From Gnome. Has the actual design / sewing of your kilts changed from the first kilts you made to now?
Yes.
Okay.
And that's all I've got to say about that.
It's all changed. Yes, because it started off way back in the cottage over in Audubon, PA, with me and Kelly sewing our fingers off. It started off
very DIY.
Yeah, very DIY, very figuring out as we went. We didn't go through the Keith school or the training kilt training schools over in Scotland. It was we got kilts, kind of like I can make this, and reverse engineered them to figure out how it went. So our
sure, varying quality at the very start.
Yeah. Don't ever look up old USA kilts, please. But our casual kilt started off as we actually sewed down all the pleats, because like the Amerikilts that we saw, utility kilts that we saw, all had the very, very edges of the pleats sewn down. So we started off with our casual kilts
from top all the way down to the bottom.
Yep. Very, very, exactly. Top all the way to the bottom. And that was the first step. And then we used to stack up the pleats that way.
I've seen some examples of this. I got a picture of one from a customer quite recent. Like, oh my goodness, that's an old kilt.
Yeah.
That could almost, be counted as vintage now.
Yeah. But as we started using, but that was also because we were using lesser quality fabrics when we had no idea what the hell we were doing. We had to go down to Fabric Row in Philadelphia and buy whatever tartan cloth we could, looking for authentic clan tartans, amongst all these other types of plaid fabrics. So we had, when we first started, it was varying degrees of quality for the fabric itself, keeping in mind we didn't make proper, wool kilts, from Scottish wool cloth. We didn't know, we started off not knowing where to go. So we just went to fabric stores and started with that. And if the fabric was, a little meh, and wouldn't hold a pleat, okay, fine, we'll just have to sew down the edge. So it was kind of born out of necessity a little bit. And then once we, within a year, we were buying stuff from Martin Mills and we were buying stuff from, all the other mills in the UK. So the quality of fabric was much, much, much better. So it was kind of one of those where we kind of looked at, the evolution of our casual kilt. We said, okay, well, do we need to sew down the pleats? Because this fabric we're now using is so much, it holds a crisp pleat. We don't need to sew these down. Like it's an unnecessary step, which saves time, which allows us to keep the cost down. So that's one thing that absolutely changed. And then we kind of evolved with the different kilts and just kind of walked our way up the ladder of, having 8-yard wool kilts from pipe bands come in. We're like, okay, well, this is how they do this. This is how this company does this. This is how that company does that. Okay, and finding our own way within it and how we wanted to make our kilts ourselves and over-engineer certain aspects of things. So I wouldn't say that outside of the sewing down of the pleats, the different models from the casual, semi-traditional, 5-yard wool and 8-yard wool, nothing has really changed. It's too much. Maybe minor tweaks here and there.
Minor tweaks. I've been here for 12 years now, and there haven't been substantial changes to most of our models. The casual is the same it was as when I started. I will say adding the top-stitched 8-yard kilt at one point was kind of a big difference, although it was still just kind of combining elements of our 5-yarder with the 8-yard kilt. So, it didn't require new training if you already knew how to do certain things.
Yeah, agreed. And it's not a tweak to a design. It's a whole new design.
And we added the midi kilt and the maxi kilt relatively recently, but the reality is those are really just our mini kilt, but longer.
Yeah.
And the only reason we treat them like something different is because we have to utilize the material in a very different way and price them in a different way.
Yeah. I'm trying to think other things that we did. The innovations, I would say that we did, were what we were seeing. Two things that come to mind is the strap on the edge of the kilt. A lot of traditional kilts that we saw come into the shop, when you pulled at the strap and it was taut, the fringe would kind of flip forward a little bit. So what we ended up doing was sewing a line actually top stitched right on the surface of all the 8-yard kilts, all the 5-yard kilts, all the semi-trads. We'd actually sew through the front apron and the strap, so that way when you wear it snug and it's tight, it doesn't make the fringe kind of want to flip forward at all. That's one thing that we do a little bit differently. And the other one that never made sense to me, and Barb Tewksbury and I are very much aligned on this one, is when Scottish kilt makers put on the buckle on the left-hand side of the kilt, where you put the strap through the hole, they will put, if the hole is here, they'll put the buckle a little bit back from the hole. So you have to put the strap through the hole and then work the strap through the buckle. Where the rubber meets the road, as an actual guy wearing a kilt and all of our customers, they would put the strap through the hole and then pull it and pull against the grain, putting pressure on that seam. And what we were seeing was guys were doing that. They were pulling it to get a little bit tighter. Then once it was tighter, they would put it through the buckle. The problem with that is they would put it through that hole and crank it down, and that's putting stress above and below the middle, the stitches that are holding that seam together. And we were seeing a lot of popped seams right there on that thing. So my solution was, well, just here's the hole, here's the buckle. Move the buckle to align with the hole and be just over the hole. So when you put the strap through the hole, it's also going through the front half of the buckle. And then when you pull it the other direction to start cranking it down, it's pulling on the entire buckle, which is sewn through the entire kilt and the horsehair canvas, and it's pulling the whole thing. So it's not putting stress on those few little stitches, it's putting stress on the entire garment, which is fine.
Agree 100%.
So that's one of the things that we changed, or do a little bit differently than I'll say some other makers. Not every maker does it the exact same way. Any other innovations or things that we do different in that way?
That's more different than other people. The root question was, what do we do differently than we used to? It's all been very subtle things.
Yeah.
Like mostly things we haven't even felt the need to announce because it was just a subtle tweak just to make something a little better. Mm-hmm. Recently we started offering new colors of straps and buckles, but that's not really a change in how we sew things.
Yeah.
So no, I don't think I do have any additional things to add
yeah.
here.
No, it's when we started doing the casual kilts, the point of the casual kilts back then was to have them be efficient and inexpensive, but still made to people's measurements. So it's kind of we've kind of optimized that as best we can, and anything else that we're going to do different on that model feels like it would be cutting a corner, so I don't want to do it. The semi-traditional, same kind of thing. It was meant to look a little bit more like a traditional kilt, but still made from PV cloth, which is why we called it the semi-traditional. And then we just started getting better and better the more kilts we saw. So we were reverse engineering Scottish-made kilts. We read the Art of the Art of Tewkesbury, the Art of Kilt Making
She'd be so flattered.
from Barbara Tewkesbury way back early in our careers, and that kind of helped inform us of, oh, okay, that's why you do X, Y, and Z. Now, is there a way I can do, instead of hand sewing it, is there a way I can do something similar on a machine to be more efficient time-wise, but get to the same end use? So that's a lot of how we kind of did that.
You know what I wish there was a better solution for, and I wish we could innovate for, because this is coming from the wrong place. This isn't coming from a place of I'm a customer, I'm aware, and I want something better. It's coming from somebody who deals with customers who misunderstand. So there's this solution here, and this is true on our kilts as well as many other kilts. I'm being careful. There's this half circle hem here on the deep pleat and the under apron pleat, and it's there for a reason. It's there for a purpose, so that doesn't poke out the bottom of your kilt. But I get so many people emailing, you did something wrong to my kilt, you broke something and you fixed it, and why is this here? And then I have to very calmly explain to them that it's there on purpose. I wish there was another way to solve the problem of those corners sticking out below your under apron. There isn't a better solution. If there was, we'd do it.
And
That's
other
what I
companies
wish.
would do it, yeah.
And the companies who don't do it have little corners sticking out the bottoms of the kilt.
Yes. So what you're hearing Ian say is, please email us with questions about that and scream at Ian at usakilts.com.
That is the one thing people will email us about, like incensed, like we've done something bad to their kilt. I'm like, no, we do it, and every other good quality kilt company does the same thing. Yeah. It's there for a purpose, trust me.
We're not hiding mistakes. We don't do that. We never make mistakes, ever.
Yes, that's right. Especially the customer service department. We never make mistakes.
Indeed, ever. All right. Was that you?
I believe that was...
I don't know.
That was me.
Oh, yeah.
However, we're at the middle of the show.
Just about.
Yeah.
Look at that.
So we need to do a little video talking about a brand new, spectacular tartan called Blue Collar. America was forged in steel and sweat, by calloused hands and aching muscles. It was built by those who take pride in what they make, not their title. By those who know the weight of a wrench and the worth of a day's work. By old-timers, passing down the knowledge of generations. By apprentices, learning how to do the job right. Their hands built this nation. Their sacrifice formed its backbone. Through good times and hardship, through war and peace, it was the workers who kept our country moving forward. The Blue Collar Tartan tells their story. A story built on strength, tenacity, and unshakable pride. Denim blue, for jeans worn thin by labor, the fabric of the working class. Marled gray and charcoal black, for soot-covered faces and grease-stained hands. Brown, for worn-in boots and the dirt under your nails after a hard day on the job. Gray-blue, for the steel wrench and the iron hammer. Red, for the sacrifices of workers who fought for their rights, their dignity, and their future. Gray, for the sweat of laborers who never sought recognition, only purpose. They didn't build this country for themselves. They built it for their families, their neighbors, their communities. This nation wasn't handed to us. It was earned, nail after nail, brick after brick, generation after generation. Times change, but what they built remains. This tartan is a tribute to the dedication, the sacrifice, and the grit of the blue-collar worker. Available in 13-ounce wool and 11-ounce polyviscose. So that is our brand spanking new. Don't spank it, but it's brand spanking new tartan. The blue collar tartan, part of our American 250 collection. We obviously wanted to release it around Labor Day weekend. That was absolutely on purpose, to show a little bit of love to an underappreciated group in this country, which is the working class, and those who make the country run on a day-to-day basis. So here's to all of us with manual labor and blue-collar type jobs.
It does answer a pretty important question for me. I was wondering if it was named after, working class folks, or if we're starting a whole new series named after some of our kilt makers.
No, no. This is one that it was, I was pleasantly surprised how it came out. What it ended up as was not what was in my brain. It was originally going to be called the American Worker Tartan, and then we ended up kind of taking a little bit different track with it. Talked to some of the customers in the store. Jeff Plavier and a few other guys had some input on what they would like to see with it. Had one gent, like, before it was even designed, said, my great grandmother or whatever it was Rosie the Riveter. I have her shovel. I want to order this. I don't care what it looks like. Done. And ordered it sight unseen. And I was like, oh, it better be good. Cause
Dave Morley. Yeah.
Yeah. So that was pretty awesome.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. But yeah, I'm pleased with how it came out.
Me too.
What are your thoughts on it, Ian?
Yeah, I quite like it a lot, especially the marled version.
Yeah. So we did it. And this was one that we wanted to do in both polyviscose as well as wool. I know a few people have said, it stretches the budget to be able to afford something of wool, especially when we're coming out with new stuff every couple months. So this is one I wanted everyone to be able to fit into their budget. So I wanted to do it in PV as well as wool right out of the gates. So this is the PV version that you have on screen there now. That one is a black instead of the marled gray, and then that's the wool version. So the blues, we got real close. All the colors are really, really close. But the black versus marled are the two differences there. So yeah, there you go. Excellent. So that's available as part of the new collection, both in polyviscose and wool. So cheers. Let us know what you guys think of it down in the comments. Does it meet your spec when you hear somebody talking about blue collar working class stuff? Is that tartan speak to you, or no, absolutely not? It looks weird. Rocky, what the hell are you doing? Allie, has anyone made any comments about it in the comment section there now?
So far it's appealing to the masses, Rocky.
Okay.
Heck yeah.
That is kind of the idea.
Mr. Boyer said the wool looks so good in person. And
local, if I understand correctly who that is.
What's that?
A local guy, if I know who that is.
Most likely. Yeah, so far, just beautiful. You did it again. Ye did it again, actually, from Jen Barry.
Very good. Excellent.
Another local.
Indeed. So which question was last? Was
Kilt making
Allie?
question? That was me.
Okay. Ian.
So I'm going to go to another local for a question. Our buddy Lonnie Oglesby shared this on Facebook. He says, give me your choice for one tartan to rule them all, as in versatility to dress up or down, from casual day wear up to wedding guest and beyond.
Okay. One tartan, and we'll bring Allie in for this as well.
One tartan.
One tartan for all time.
One tartan to find them.
That's, how do you pick your favorite kid?
I know.
I've designed a bunch of tartans, and I like a lot of the ones I've designed, so
Yeah.
it's going to be tough.
This is a tricky question, and like a couple questions we've done today, there's no clear 100% correct answer. I think a lot of people would come to a different conclusion here.
Yeah. Okay. Allie, what is your one and only?
It's going to be Appalachian folklore. Absolutely.
Okay.
Sorry, Rocky. Or not sorry. Actually, I'm not sorry. Appalachian folklore.
You're allowed to like tartans that I didn't design. It's okay.
Are you sure about that?
I'm not going to pay you anymore, but you're allowed.
Appalachian folklore. I do own Appalachian folklore kilt, and I've found that its colors aren't terribly limited, but they are somewhat like it's not Buchanan or Anderson where you've got just crazy amounts of color. It is finite, and I found that I can wear so many colors with Appalachian folklore, one of which that surprised me was pink. Looks great with pink. So that gives you a lot of...
I agree with that.
Huh?
I don't know if I agree with that.
Well, you don't have to, because you're not wearing pink with it. So to me, that gives you the versatility as far as casual wear. And also, it does have some nice, rich colors in it, including black, a little bit of blue, browns. I think it works really well formally. If you want something with good, rich color to stand out in a formal occasion, that's the one. And it's not too much. Yeah.
Okay.
That's my final words on the matter.
Okay.
The final word, Rocky. I don't even know if we should bother to answer. I like that answer, and I consider that answer as well, because I've worn mine pretty casually with just like a rugby shirt or whatever, grandfather shirt, on up to with a tweed jacket and vest to a wedding. I don't know that I'd wear my specific Appalachian folklore kilt with a Prince Charlie for black tie, but that's mostly because it has brown leather straps on it. And I don't think I want brown leather straps. There's no reason you couldn't put black straps on it, so that's a weird limitation I'm putting, especially if we're trying to think of one tartan to rule them all for everybody. I think my actual answer here, I think most people's answer is probably going to be their clan tartan, right? A lot of people are going to go that way.
If you didn't mention it, I was about to.
I think my actual answer is kilts and culture. In the way that she described Appalachian folklore being very versatile, I think kilts and culture has proven that too. There's times where people have talked about wearing a particular color with that one. I'm like, that's nuts. That will not work. And it always does. I don't know. Like somebody said, oh, pink would look great with kilts and culture. I'm like, I think you're nuts. But then I've seen people do it and it works. I've even bought a pink shirt and worn a pink shirt with it. Not my first choice of color to wear with it, but I think you can wear black, you can wear pink, you can wear red, especially maroons I like to wear with it. You could wear a mustardy gold, you could wear brown. There's so many colors you can wear with it. And as long as you put black straps on it, you can dress it down, dress it up. That's probably true of a lot of weathered tartans, but I think particularly that one, especially because of the very brilliant stroke of the designer of using non-traditional red and yellow with otherwise weathered palette. Those are not a traditional red or yellow for weathered tartans, but it's mostly a weathered tartan, but
the yellow is, the red's a little darker. Yeah.
The red is noticeably different than the salmony, not quite pinkish color that you find in typical weathered palette. Agreed.
You stole my answer, so I'm going to pivot. So I think most people are going to pick their clan tartan, 100%. And rightfully so. You pick the tartan that means the most to you. And for most people, the connection that they have with tartan is a familial connection. So that 100% makes sense. For me, I'm looking at it through a lens of the question itself of, so from casual to formal for any occasion, what one specific tartan. Modern tartans to me feel a little dressier, so I probably wouldn't do a mod. If I'm going to do a clan tartan, I wouldn't do a modern necessarily. If ancient feels a little bit more, it could go both directions. Muted, similar kind of thing. Weathered feels the most casual of them, but you could still dress it up. How you accessorize your outfit has more to do with the level of formality than the tartan color palette itself. I wear tartans much more casually, many more times casually than I would for formal, so I would probably, like you, lean towards a weathered type color palette. I was going to pick kilts and culture because it's one I designed and I really like it. And it has a yellow stripe, it has a white stripe, it has a red stripe, and it has the other brown and grays as well, and some black. The thing that I like about that one versus something like Back to Nature. I think Back to Nature would be a great one, but I don't feel it has the depth of or the contrast that I would want because there's no black in it. I would want more contrast for dressier kind of formal. It just feels like it needs more contrast. So for me, I would pick the Stuart Old Weathered that we did a custom run in. That one, again, it's a clan tartan that I am affiliated with through my wife. It is a non-traditional Stuart tartan, so I like that fewer people have it. And it's a wider set, it's a simpler set, so it speaks to me more. And you could wear it for both casual as well as formal, especially in the weathered color palette. So mine would be Stuart Old Weathered is the one that I would wear.
Okay. Related topic. I think you and I are both wearing tartans that aren't overly suitable for very formal things. Which one do you think is more unsuitable?
Yours.
I think I agree.
Yeah. It's the
if you were to wear that to an event that was dressy, that especially if it's stuffy people who do dress up things all the time. Like trying to celebrate the blue collar might be not wrong, but weird.
No, it would also potentially be a subtle thumbing your nose.
Yeah, and I like that about it.
I do as well. I like the insults that no one knows is an actual insult. I'm going to go a little bit weird here. I would wear, if I had to wear the blue collar tartan to a formal event, I would wear the PV version with black and blue versus the marbled gray. Yeah,
but I do think the tartan tweed is. I definitely feel it for casual much more than I feel it for formal.
Yeah, I think the marled yarns and tweed tartans, it really lends itself much more towards casual only, or smart day wear to casual, less formal specifically.
Tend to agree.
But then again, how many formal events do you do? Like if I do one a year, it's a good year. So I'm a little less concerned about the formal. But if it's desert island, one tartan only, Stuart Old weathered.
And then you've got your tartan for your formal night on the deserted island.
Exactly. Well, I was dropped off of my cruise ship, so it's fine.
Fair enough.
Very good. All right. And let's make that the question of the day. All right. Boys and girls, what desert island, one tartan only, are you picking for casual all the way to formal? The name of the tartan and whether it's if it's a clan tartan, if it's modern, ancient, muted, or weathered, put that in the comments. We'll start cataloging a few of them. At the end of the show, we'll go back to that. We're going to ask what people are saying, but that's going to be the question of the day. All right, Allie, give me the next question from the audience.
Okie dokie. This is from MadPup1 UK. Attending a wedding, just as a guest, in October in Edinburgh. Men are...
That hurt a little bit.
It says
Edinburgh.
Edinburgh. Ooh,
Yeah.
I'm so sorry.
I'm
sorry to our Scottish listeners there.
Yes. I whenever we have an American way of pronouncing things, I usually try to do like the American and the Scottish way on the TikTok lives. I'll say like lament as well as Lamont.
I see.
It's, American versus Scottish way of
Only
pronouncing
giving
something.
you a hard time so the comment section doesn't.
Yes, exactly.
Well, consider my wrist slapped.
I'm not trying to slap your wrist.
Men are to wear kilts or suits. I'm planning to Argyll up with a clown tie. I think he meant clan tie.
Okay.
Would a matching
Or a clown tie, that's fine.
Or a clown tie.
Yeah, he's going to squeeze the thing that squirts water.
I was thinking Buchanan. Sorry,
We
Buchanan.
shouldn't defend her.
Would a matching fly plaid be too much? The groom is not wearing a plaid.
Do we know if the groom's wearing a kilt?
It doesn't
say.
matter because they said you
he's
can wear
not-
kilts
yeah.
or suits. Yeah.
Yeah.
No. I
Yeah.
would not wear a fly plaid to a wedding, whether or not the kilt was, or whether or not the groom was wearing a fly plaid. I wouldn't wear one.
Yep.
If it was specifically a very formal event and everybody's wearing black tie, maybe. But I think
Only
most...
if the wedding party is wearing a fly plaid. Though.
Yes.
Yeah.
Agreed.
If the groom is not, that's a hard no from me.
I think most circumstances, a guest should not wear a fly plaid.
Yeah.
I've never been to a wedding in my life that was fancy enough that, most of the weddings I've been to haven't involved kilts, in fairness. But where guests should probably not wear them.
Yeah.
Most of the time.
I would give it a hard miss.
Yeah.
It's you are a guest at someone else's event. This is their special day, and you don't want to either actually or have be perceived as trying to take away from the attention, the spotlight being on the couple. You don't want the bride to be like, oh, God, I can't believe he's doing that.
Wearing a nicer dress than I am.
So it's one of those things where, I'd give it a hard no. On top of that, a fly plaid is annoying to walk around in, to try to dance in, that kind of thing. It's pulling at the the epaulettes and the shoulder of the jacket. It's great for pictures, like we always say, but it's not great to actually
Sounds like you're
wear.
not going to be in the main pictures.
Yeah, if you're not in the main pictures, no, I'd give it a miss. If you have a fly plaid and you just are looking for excuses to wear it, which is why you're doing this, I'd say if you're going on a cruise and there's a formal night, sure, wear it there. Alternatively, I'd recycle it and give it to your bride, or take the box plate out of the corner and just use it as a table covering or that kind of thing. I would find other reasons or other ways to utilize it, but I wouldn't wear it to a wedding at somebody else's wedding. period.
I think if I were to try to come up with, odd circumstances in which it would be suitable, you could maybe get away with it if you're the father of the bride or the groom. Maybe.
Oh, really?
That's still pushing it. The other circumstance would be if it was specifically like a masquerade-themed wedding where people are wearing like the masks and things like that, and a little bit of a cape might be a fun flourish.
Well, not even
as
wedding,
part of
but
an
a
outfit.
masquerade party.
Yeah.
Sure.
But even if it was like a masquerade party themed wedding, is what I'm going for here. I've never been to one of those. I don't know how common.
Yeah, I was going to say, I don't know if I've ever seen a masquerade.
But I've certainly heard of
party
people
wedding.
doing themed weddings. Like I know somebody talked about they did a Beetlejuice themed wedding, and they came to us to get a kilt. And I forget the exact circumstances, but I'm like, can I get an invite to that wedding? Because I'm kind of curious about this. So, if you're doing something that outside the box, it opens you up a little bit more to play with these things.
I might still say no to the father of the bride wearing a fly plaid, just because it feels almost like wearing white to a wedding to me. Like that's just for the groom.
Okay,
Yeah,
that's fair.
I'm actually okay with the father wearing, especially if it's in a different tartan than the groom was wearing.
Ooh,
especially if the
okay.
father of the bride, because the father of the bride is the only person I would say who's above the groom. Like he's known the bride longer than the groom has. If there's anyone who's going to have the right to show clan colors outside of the groom, it would be the father of the bride. So I'd be fine with that. Yeah, 100%. I do want to see the Beetlejuice wedding though.
Yeah.
And what is the appropriate time to shout, "It's showtime"
It's showtime.
at the wedding?
When you're interrupting the ceremony to try to steal the bride, obviously.
Yeah.
Yes,
Or
yes.
like that's the all the groomsmen and bridesmaids have come into the reception, and then it's showtime, and then the bride and groom come in, maybe, or before the bride walks down the aisle. All right.
I should remember who that customer was so I could ask them for pictures now.
Yeah, I kind
If
of
you're
want to see
watching,
this.
send us some photos.
Indeed. So what tartan would you wear for a Beetlejuice themed wedding, and why would it obviously be Mingus/Menzies?
That's a good one. That's a good one.
Yeah.
You could go
McFarlane
with,
black and white.
Could go with something more green though to reflect the greenish in his hair. That like leisure suit he wore down in the underworld. That green and purple, or like purple more burgundy,
Yeah.
or plum.
Okay.
There's a couple different ways you could go with it.
We've gone off trails now.
I think we did this
Yeah.
as a TikTok once.
Yes. All right. Very good. All right. That was you, Mr.
It
Ian.
was. Let's see what we got here. At Thomas McRannock, probably not saying that right. It's very Scottish. From YouTube. My second baby is due in October on the 23rd. I want something Celtic to take to the hospital to give the baby at birth. I don't know if I should go remnants of a tartan and baby blanket or what. Any ideas? We don't know if we're having a boy or a girl.
Okay.
So we're not thinking gendered on whatever we're coming up with here.
I would. So, what do you bring to a for the baby, for the gift in the hospital? I'm going back to when Liam was born and we had the baby photos done in the hospital kind of thing, newborn photos. So I'm thinking about that. I would say a kilt isn't necessarily bad.
No.
You just make it small and say like 8-inch to 10-inch.
It's hard to know what size to get it.
Agreed. You do Velcro closure and it's fine.
Yeah.
If you have a bit of remnant cloth, you could potentially do that. The thing that I think would actually work really, really well for baby photos in little basket thing at the hospital are one of two things: either a scarf, a lamb's wool scarf,
Okay.
or a lamb's wool blanket. Would really, really be nice because it's very, very soft, especially for like the macro photography. I'm going into photography mode here. The macro photography, zooming in, you have like little tiny hairs off the blanket, little baby in there. You can swaddle them up in it. It's a nice, soft looking thing and feeling thing as well. So that's kind of where I would probably go with it, is either a lamb's wool scarf or a lamb's wool blanket.
I like the idea of the blanket. I was going to go a little bit more in the direction of just get a yard of cloth and then swaddle the baby in the cloth the way you would for a newborn, to put them to sleep.
Yeah.
Put a little hat on them and swaddle them up, and they look like a little tartan hot dog. It's fun.
Burrito.
Burrito.
Yes, indeed. Allie looks like she wants to say something over there.
Yeah. For those who were wondering, wool is a safe fabric for babies. Obviously, I would probably avoid something terribly coarse, like woven 16-ounce material or tweed. But something like merino, 11-ounce wool, is quite compatible with their skin and is often very helpful in like thermal regulation when they're very young. So I think I'm with you, Ian. I might choose something like bulk cloth, even something like shawl size, so that the edges are nice and soft and fringed. I would just consider household or personal allergies of the parents or the baby, and absolutely bring some time.
See, here's the thing: you don't know the allergy of the baby, so wrap them in wool. You're going to find out real quick if they're allergic to wool.
True.
If either of the parents are allergic to wool,
there you go.
I'd say maybe give like kilt cloth or worsted wool cloth a miss, but lamb's wool probably would be okay, or cashmere or something like that.
Yes.
That's a little bit pricier. But yeah, I think 11-ounce wool, if you're just buying it just for this event, 11-ounce wool is going to be a little bit softer. So I'd do like a Reaver from Loch Heron or something like that versus 16-ounce, which is going to be a little bit more coarse. Makes a great kilt, but it's a little bit sensitive. In the same way that we tell people we don't want to make like scarves out of 16-ounce cloth, worsted cloth, or even 13-ounce worsted cloth, because it's a sensitive area up around your neck. Baby's skin can tend to be a little bit more sensitive in general, so I'd say 11 ounce is probably ideal, but then you're stuck with 11-ounce cloth, and if you're not making something out of it later on, like a pillow or something else, then you're just buying cloth for a photo and here you go. This is your birth cloth. Birth cloth is a thing.
Sounds gross.
It does. It does sound very gross. It's like a reverse Shroud of Turin kind of thing. I don't know. Death Shroud. Yes.
Yeah.
It's got weird fast. All right. So yeah, that's our answer. Was that you? Yes, Allie.
All right. From Jason Collins, is it possible to do a tweed jacket customized to the Kilkenny style?
Sure.
Yeah. It's not on our website, but.
Yeah, I'm about to make your job a lot more difficult.
Thank you.
Yes. So ask for Allie or Ian; they'll know exactly what you're talking about.
Yes, do that.
Technically, when we call it a tweed jacket and vest, you can do a tweed jacket and vest in an Argyll style, in a Braemar style, in a Crail style, or in a Kilkenny style. It's the style, meaning for an Argyll, Braemar, or Crail, it's really the only difference is the cuff. Hard stop. That's it. Argyll has a gauntlet cuff. A Braemar has what's called a Braemar cuff. A Crail has a plain cuff with a single button on the backside of the arm. A Kilkenny jacket it's basically an Argyll, but just a slight variant on the Crail cuff. So sure, we could do a Kilkenny in tweed. Yep, that's not a problem.
Maybe do the Kilkenny harp buttons, or we could do the imitation stag if that would be a better look. It just depends on the tweed, I guess.
Yeah, so there's actually like a billion different configurations and options. We don't want to drown people in decisions. There's actually something called decision paralysis. If you offer too many options, people just kind of like, I don't know what the right answer is, so I'm just going to walk away. So we try not to inundate people with too many different options, but give them enough options that they feel like they're getting exactly what they want. It's a balance that we have to strike. But if you're specifically looking for a Kilkenny style, Kilkenny cut in a tweed material, sure, why not? If there's something like weird and wonderful custom that you want that seems like, that should be doable, send us an email and we'll tell you either, yes, we can do it. It might cost a little bit more, might be a little bit of outside the norm, or we may say, no, we can't do it. Here's why. Yeah. Or we might say, sure, it doesn't cost any more. Great, we'll just do it. It's just a different, a different angle on a traditional thing. So, yeah, send us an email.
We get questions like that all the time. Don't be afraid to shoot us an email, sales@usakilts.com, and we'll let you know what we can do.
Yeah.
But the basic answer to this one is yes.
Yeah. We like being able to do different things for customers. Sometimes those things are like, we love treating each customer like the peacock that they are, like the individual snowflake that we all are. But at the same time, sometimes those things cost more. Sometimes they don't, and hopefully it doesn't, but sometimes they do cost more. So I would say, come to us with whatever questions you have. Just don't be surprised if we say, yes, we can do it, but it's going to cost more.
Or no, we can't.
or no, we can't. But generally speaking, if we say no to something, there's a reason.
Mm-hmm.
Like I want a velvet jacket, but make it in tweed. There is no such thing as tweed velvet. Therefore, no, it's not possible.
Mm-hmm.
But if you say I want an Argyll in velvet, like cool, we can get it specced out and we can get it done for you. It's just going to cost more because velvet costs more than Barathea, and it's a one-off jacket, not a one of 1,000 that they're doing in an assembly line. So. Yeah, there's reasons why things cost what they do, but sure, ask us. We can hook you up.
Yeah, all the time people ask us, hey, I like that sporran you have in black. I'd like it in brown. Can it be done? The answer's probably going to be yes.
Yeah.
As long as you didn't add 7 other customizations that can't be done.
That's fair. So don't be unreasonable, and we'll hook you up. Cool.
Yeah.
All right. Mr. Ian.
Yes. Where was I? We've got Don Boozer asked us on Facebook. You all have addressed this in the past. How do you respond to someone who thinks only clan tartans and maybe a few universals like Blackwatch are real tartans? How would you respond to someone pointing to your kilt, asking about the tartan, and you say, for example, it's the blue-collar tartan, that it symbolizes, etc., etc., and them saying, that's cool, but that's not a real tartan? Assuming the response is going to be different, too, if they're genuinely curious or just being a jerk.
Okay. So somebody comes up and says, what tartan is that? That's not real. Mm-hmm. Frankly speaking, I'd say there's varying degrees of jerk, so that'll temper my answer. But I don't see this as a non-jerk interaction. If someone is coming up and saying, what tartan is that? And you say it's blue collar, or it's American Dream, or it's insert Scotland Forever, any universal tartan, and they say, well, that's not a clan tartan, therefore it's not a real tartan. That comment in itself puts them over the edge from a fun interaction to jerk in my mind, depending on how angry they come at it. No matter what, it's a jerk comment. So if it is like. If it's just like, oh well, then it's not really a tartan because it's not a clan tartan, and they seem a little bit softer pedaling, then I would match their energy, and I would come back with, well, there are actually clan tartans that are great and traditional and everything like that, that date back to the early 1800s. But there's also plenty of non-clan affiliated tartans that exist. I would beat them over the head with knowledge, is essentially where I would go with it. So I'd say, if it's me knowing the things that I know and having the depth, the Rolodex of knowledge that I do, I would say, well, Blackwatch, the government said, that's not a clan tartan. But it is, because clans adopted it after the fact. But would you consider that a non-real tartan? Because it's not a clan tartan. It didn't start its life as a clan tartan. It started its life as a government tartan for the military. Is that a real tartan or no? And then they'd say, well, yes, that one is. And if they want to hook it on well, that's because Campbell and Monroe and Sutherland, they've all adopted it. Okay, cool, great. Now, is Scottish National a real tartan? Like, that's Scotland's national tartan? Is that not real? Or is that not official? Is that not good enough for you? Well, maybe that one is. Okay, well, there are literally dozens and hundreds of tartans that are registered in the Scottish Tartan Register, which are not clan affiliated. There's actually thousands. Are those not official tartans? Because the Scottish government has officially classified them as real tartans. So is that not good enough for you? What makes a tartan real? Where does your line in the sand go? Is it has to be clan, or it has to be officially approved, or it has to be government approved, or it has to be officially woven? Like, where is your line in the sand? So I would push back at them, period, but I would push back at them from a position of, I know a lot of things. Now, if they came at me like aggro, like, that's not a clan tartan. Oh, really? So you know better than the Scottish Register. You know better than Peter MacDonald. You know better than all these other kilt companies in Scotland, which have hand-sewn wool kilt. Where did you get your degree in Scottish tartan history from? I didn't know I was talking to an expert. Please enlighten me. Please regale me with your tales of what makes an official clan tartan. What makes you know more than anyone else? I would love to hear it. Is it because your great-granddaddy told you that your clan tartan was the only one? Because your great-granddaddy was probably an idiot. Like... I would, if they come at me aggro, I can absolutely meet their aggro energy and then go 6 levels up. That's actually a very big flaw that I have. If someone comes at me insulting, I don't go like 2 steps up. I will immediately go to threat level midnight and just go at them, and I don't care. I'm going to win at all costs.
Don't give away your tactics.
That said, it's one of those where I would come at them. So what makes you an expert? And let them kind of, that's probably how I would actually handle it. Is I would, so what makes you an expert? What makes you say that? Well, because clan tartans are the only real tartans. Really, what, the Glenafric tartan is the oldest tartan in Scotland, and that one was actually probably 500 or 600 years old, and that was pre-clan tartans. So there was a history of tartans before clan, and it actually kind of evolved out of district tartans. So what makes clan tartans better or more accurate or real than district tartans, or than the Glenafric, or than universal tartans? Because those were actually predating clan tartans. Clan tartans were actually kind of a thing because the King of England came to the UK, or came to Scotland, in Edinburgh in 1822. And that's where clan tartans really kind of happened, because clan chiefs were like, oh my God, I need real clan tartans. Hey, Mills, what tartan should I get for my clan tartan? And that's where it kind of started. So what makes that real, but other tartans not? What makes you the ambassador? What makes you the authority? How do you have any say here? You're just parroting things that your grandparents told you because you don't actually know the true history of the thing. You don't have any real knowledge. Frankly, this whole conversation isn't worth my time. Get to fuck, as the Scots would say.
So now that you're done with the polite,
and we're gonna bleep that after the fact, for the record.
Now that you're done with the polite answer, what do you really think?
They, in the chat, they are loving that you woke up and chose violence today.
Ian, what's your peace-loving
F
answer?
around and find out.
Uh-huh.
Rocky's going to throw hands across the screen.
I probably wouldn't go at these people as hard as you would, just because I find the point of view so boring and uninteresting. It's like, this point of view just would choke the life out of the kilt industry.
Yeah.
I don't know how it would happen right away, but if somehow somebody could present this point of view in a way that was interesting enough that it caught hold in the hearts of people, how long would it be before there wouldn't be mills anymore making stuff? Because you can only get one kilt. You're only allowed one kilt, and you can't buy any more, and you can only buy your clan ones. And I also think that this is the same type of person that, like, even if you said, okay, that's an interesting point, I'm going to adopt that as my point of view, they'd then move the goalpost. They'd even go so far as to say, well, there isn't really all this ancient weathered reproduction nonsense. These mills like the Buchanan, or these clans like the Buchanans who have 20 different versions, that's all not real. You get one tartan for your clan, pick one. And like they're just going to keep moving the goalpost. So it's almost not worth engaging with. Just be, okay, sure. I disagree. And I'd point to the Scottish Register of Tartans. That'd be my main thing. Oh, the Scottish government feels differently, so I don't...
Indeed. All right, that was you?
That was me.
All right, Allie.
From Favor of Lions.
I hope that helps. I hope you all are amused as we are at giving these answers. It's just fun. It's good times. Allie.
From Favor of Lions. Do you have any Daysporn recommendations for a lassie looking for their first?
A Daysporn for a woman looking for their firstborn. I would say it depends on what you are wearing.
Yeah.
And the size of the lassie. If you are a more petite frame, then I would say I would absolutely say a child sporran. I would go with a smaller size sporran to match the smaller size frame. If I'm doing if you're in a mini kilt, I would say a child size sporran, almost no matter the size of the woman, because it has to match the size of the kilt itself. And the real estate it takes on a kilt would be smaller.
If you're wearing a 13-inch mini kilt and you're wearing a horsehair sporran, that'd be a little funky.
Yeah. So I would say probably lean towards the smaller end of the scale. A man's sporran is roughly 7.5, 8 inches, I won't say square, not a square shape, but height and width. It's about 7.5 inches or so. So I would say for a woman, it would be a little masculine looking at that size. So I tend to lean a little bit smaller. Ian.
It's difficult to speak for all women on this topic, partially
Agreed.
because we're not women.
Oddly enough, we have one in studio.
We do.
Yes.
We'll probably get there.
Yes.
But it's just, women are doing so many more different things. Like, to whatever degree men are wearing kilts, they tend to do things in the same kinds of ways. Whereas women, sometimes they're going for a very feminine mini kilt kind of a look. Sometimes they're going for a more matronly kilted skirt kind of look. Sometimes they are going for a more unisex look, and they're wearing a man's 5-yard kilt, in which case a sporran, a pretty typical men's sporran, is most of the time going to be the right thing to do.
Yes.
Sometimes they're in a pipe band, so the whole point is to have a uniform where everybody looks kind of the same. You should be wearing the same sporran as the rest of the band. And sometimes women are wearing, more unisex looks because they used to be in a pipe band, or they are in a pipe band, but they're doing other things and they like wearing kilts. So there's a lot of different ways to approach this question depending on how you're approaching kilting.
I'm gonna do 2 other things before we get to Allie. I'm gonna try to steal your answers.
Oh, okay, go ahead. Try me.
Gotcha.
Try me. I heard
Be careful.
you're in
He woke
fisticuffs
up
today.
and chose violence. So.
Yes. Women are not allowed. Just kidding. Just kidding. I would not.
Too far.
They're only allowed to
Too
wear their
much
clan
violence.
tartan in any case.
Yes, indeed. Okay, so 2 other things. In my brain, something you said kind of flipped the light switch for me. I see mini kilts and, weirdly, kilted skirts / maxi kilts, longer. So either a few inches above the knee or several inches below the knee. I think a larger child's sporran looks right.
Okay.
I agree with you that for a kilt to the knee, a man's size sporran looks right, because I think it kind of breaks my brain where it's like it's to the knee, it should be this size sporran. That's kind of how it should be. Longer or shorter, in my mind's eye, I can see a smaller sporran working well. Where I will say that what I would do if I was a woman and wearing a knee-length kilt and a man's size sporran, I would wear it off to the side. I would not quite on the hip, like fully on the side, but on the front of one of the thighs, not dead center between the two. That's kind of where I would go with it.
Okay.
Allie.
When I think of women wearing a sporran, the first image that comes to mind is Allie the Piper.
Right.
Because we see her wear sporrans a lot.
Yes.
And, she is a very petite young lady, so it's hard to tell if she's wearing a child sporran. But I get the feeling, based on what I've seen,
It's
they
full-size
look like a
sporran.
lot of ours, like our day sporrans. So
And she comes from the bagpiping world. She's been in pipe bands, so that's what she's used to and what
Yes.
she's incorporated into her outfits.
But it looks good. It looks good on her, and I never think that, wow, that sporran is really wearing her. That's way too big.
It's a funny way to think about it.
Some articles of clothing just don't match well with the person or their proportions, and it's like, you're drowning in that.
Now
You're
I'm
swimming in it.
picturing a sporran. We're gonna have to Photoshop this. A sporran with little Piper Alley tassels, just like dangling from the sporran.
Yeah.
3 of her. Yes.
I love it.
Yes.
Love
the
it.
sporran is wearing her.
I will 3D print those for you
Fair.
with joy. So I'd say consider your proportions. If you are someone who is a bit smaller than Piper Alley, like 5 foot, or is she 5 foot?
She's probably
like
5'2",
5'4".
Yeah, 5'4"-ish. Yeah.
It's hard to tell. Okay, yeah. If you are a little bit shorter or smaller in proportion than that, I might consider a child sporran. But I'd say, go bananas. Most day sporrans or semi-dress sporrans will fit you just fine, as far as looking appropriate according to your size. I personally love the idea of a child sporran. I do want one for myself. I will get there. I just think they're so
I happen
adorable.
to know a place.
Oh, wow. Really? Really?
The other thing I think Piper Allie benefits from in the look department for this scenario is she's carrying bagpipes. You see her playing bagpipes with the so the sporran larger makes sense because she has other big
Large items.
pipey type items. Oddly enough, bagpipes. Kind of in the name, while she's doing it. So I think that if I was a woman just in a mini kilt out and about, I think without a big old honking set of bagpipes with me, it would honk honk.
They do honk.
Yes, they do honk. I think that the smaller sporran kind of makes sense. I don't know. I'm trying to put it together on my brain, and I think that's why it feels okay on her.
Yeah.
But it might feel a little bit much on somebody else. Maybe.
I don't know that the length of the kilt, at least from my perspective, would really make a difference about the size. Yeah, definitely more about your proportions. Also, what you want to carry. Ladies often come with a few more accessories. Me personally, I'm going to carry my phone. I'm probably going to have a wallet, along with some, like a little makeup bag or something.
Yeah.
If your husband, boyfriend, whatever is wearing a kilt and a sporran, just make him put your stuff in his purse.
Oh my god, I would love that. I don't know that I could ever convince Nick to wear a sporran, let alone no, he's worn a kilt before. Can't convince him to wear a sporran.
But here's the question: would you? So let's say you get a kid sporran, a larger kid sporran, but a kid sporran nonetheless. So a little bit smaller than a man sporran. Would you also carry a purse? Like you want to have a makeup bag, you want to have your wallet, you want to have your phone. All that doesn't fit in your sporran. I don't know why my voice cracked right there. But all that doesn't fit in a sporran. Would you also carry a purse? Or would that just look weird?
It would. I suppose for me, it might depend on the occasion. The kind of bag that I carry is like a single sling. I can kind of wear it across my body.
Okay.
So it almost functions like a little book bag.
Backpack.
For me, I would, backpack, book bag,
Yeah.
tomato.
Yeah. No, I'm agreeing. I'm just,
Okay.
Yeah.
So for me, that wouldn't be too much of a change. I would probably wear a book bag. I might skip the purse. And something that didn't occur to me until now is that most concert venues are becoming more and more restrictive on the size of the bag that you can carry in. So a sporran would actually be a perfectly sized bag to bring to a festival or an event where large bags are no longer allowed. So yeah, I think my universal answer might be like, go for the day sporran, ladies. Yeah, that's the right size for concerts.
Child's Day sporran or men's Day sporran?
Men's Day sporran.
Got it. Okay.
Yeah.
It's real close. Some depending on how much of a stickler the venue is. Some of them, because we've discussed this on the show before. Some of them are like 8 inches, period, and it's like 8.5 height of the bag or something like that.
Yeah.
If you can like shove it into the little container that they have at the venues, you'd be fine. But yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
Good thoughts. I like this. Random, but I like it. Okay. Ian, next.
Okay, we've got Brian from Milwaukee from YouTube, and that's Brian from Milwaukee, all one word. I don't know where he's from. So it's all one name. Which is more of a faux pas, a full Prince Charlie with the day sporran, or business smart casual with the dress sporran?
So, a casual, business smart casual with the dress sporran?
Yeah. So if I'm wearing a dress sporran right now.
I wouldn't say this is business smart.
Fair.
This is casual.
Fair.
If I'm wearing, see my brain goes different place. This outfit with a dress sporran, so casual with a dress sporran, t-shirt and kilt dress sporran, I think that is a bigger faux pas than a Prince Charlie with a black day sporran.
I would definitely agree with that. Although if we start blending those lines a little bit, as this question is a little bit more tuned
now
to.
if I'm going like tweed jacket and vest with a dress sporran, especially like a chocolate bronze cantle dress sporran.
There are some dress sporrans that kind of blend some lines.
Yep, like the wood cantle dress sporran I've seen a few times. That I think is a little bit more okay. I could see it.
I have a sporran with a Highland Coup on the cantle, and then it's Coup fur. So I feel like that's not as dressy as some. And I've worn that with tweed, and it works okay. It's a little dressier than is ideal.
Yeah, it's not fish nor fowl, but it's Yes, I think it works well with tweed.
Especially because like you have such a rustic fur to go with a more rustic kind of a look relative to formal anyway.
I would phrase it this way. It has the right spirit
Yeah.
for tweed.
Yeah.
Yes. That said, if I'm going to push apart on the scales on the spectrum here and go with t-shirt and a dress sporran on a kilt versus a Prince Charlie and a black day sporran, I guess the reason why I say the black Prince Charlie and a black day sporran feels less offensive is because it's a black sporran. It's less blingy, so it stands out less in that particular outfit versus, like you've seen them at festivals. A guy wearing a regular t-shirt, some kind of graphic tee with a kilt and a white fur dress sporran. It's like, no, that's a formal thing. It stands out too much. The chrome cantle stands out.
Drawing too much attention away from the rest of the outfit.
Exactly. So that to
With an
me
accessory.
is a cardinal sin. The other one's like a slightly less sin. I'm not Catholic, but I don't know.
Less.
And with the day sporran with your Prince Charlie outfit, it's de-emphasizing an accessory in favor of drawing more attention to the kilt and the other parts of the outfit. So I'd be careful. It would depend on the day sporran. Something relatively plain is where I'd go. I often recommend for folks who are trying to do this, and it's not uncommon for folks like, I don't really like the dress sporrans. They seem too flashy for me. I go for we call it our simple pin day sporran because it's very plain. The only thing that's remotely weird about it is the pin closure, kind of like the one I have here, although the ones we sell currently don't have tassels. So it's very plain.
Let's take a slight different angle on this since I'm bringing up degrees. So, on a scale of 1 to 10, 10, worse than ever, you're going directly to hell for doing this kilt
Fashion
faux pas.
hell.
Yes, fashion hell. Versus 1, it's fine, it's perfect, don't worry about it. To me, I would say white dress sporran with t-shirt and kilt. On the kilt sin scale, 8.5 versus a black day sporran with a Prince Charlie. It's a 5.5.
That's fair.
It's 6. It's a sin, but it's not a cardinal sin. Where are you at number-wise?
I think I'd come down a little bit lower on the day sporran, and especially because I know a lot of people do it. It's not that uncommon. And sometimes people are just doing the less dressier of the dress sporrans, which isn't exactly the question here, I understand.
It's not right. Doesn't make it right.
Yeah, it doesn't make it right, but I'd come down to a 5 or more like a 4.
Really?
It's still on the sin scale. It's not off the scale.
Okay. All right, so this is just for sins. This is sin. This
Now,
isn't
if it's
perfect, fine.
It very much is dependent on that sporran. If you're getting something that's like laser etched with an elaborate pattern, our Fenrir day sporran, I don't think goes at all. I go way higher on the scale in that case, especially if it's some kind of funky color. That Fenrir is already pushing it being gray and not black.
Anything other than black,
Yeah.
it's definitely drops it down to a 7 or an 8 or a 9.
If you've got a purple leather, I don't care if your kilt's purple. It's not working.
Nope.
For a formal event.
Nope. That's because you're just making a caricature of it, and it's almost clown-like at that point.
Yeah.
Okay. Allie, you wanted to add something. You made... Okay, never mind. No, Allie doesn't have anything to add.
I mean,
All right.
on the sin scale, wearing a dress sporran like in a casual or semi-casual outfit, I'm a bit more of a hard ass when it comes to for formal wear, mixing formal and casual wear. So I would say don't do that. Don't do that.
Yeah.
Don't wear your horsehair sporran, casually, or even your dress sporran with a casual outfit. I think if there's any confusion for you and, you want to kind of ride the line or you need to be a bit more budget conscious, semi-dress. Go with semi-dress and something relatively simple as far as semi-dress goes. And that way you could do both.
Well, frankly, budget. You can't get cheaper than a freaking black day sporran. I agree with you, but you can't get cheaper than a black day sporran. So it shouldn't be a budget thing.
Yeah.
It's something you inherited from your father or something.
I will add on to that, and I agree with you. I will add on to that and say that if you're wearing a casual outfit and you're wearing a dress sporran, you don't look like you know what you're doing.
Yes. It's like
If
wearing
you're
your kilt
wearing
backwards.
a Prince Charlie and the rest of the outfit is good, Like you're wearing, nice, colored kilt hose or charcoal or something. You have a nice kilt on. You have a Prince Charlie. You have your bow tie, your shirt. You have a kilt pin on, and the only thing that's a little bit off is a black day sporran. It's more forgivable because the rest of the outfit looks like you know what you're doing versus going the other direction, wholly casual outfit with a dress sporran. It's that to me is the weirdness. Yeah. Okay. All right. We'll do one more question, then we will review the question of the day and see what other people thought of for whatever the question of the day was, because I forget. All right, Ian.
I asked the last question.
Oh.
Does Allie have a particularly good one, or should we jump into one of mine?
Let me see. From Tango Tangerine, what's the guide for color regarding kilt hose and kilt? What colors match? What doesn't?
We can actually do this pretty quick. There's two ways to look at kilt hose color, in my not so humble opinion. First way is to match the kilt hose to the top. So this kilt that I have on has some brown in it. Doesn't have like tan that I have on, but it has some brown in it. If I wore, let's call this oatmeal. If I had oatmeal colored kilt hose, I could wear that with this kilt, and I would match kind of top and bottom. If, that doesn't, I would almost not care what colors are in the kilt. So let's say I wanted to wear, there's no, claret. This is the red. It's not like a blood red. If I wanted to wear a claret or a wine red top and kilt hose, you could make I wouldn't necessarily do it, but you could make an argument that would look fine because the top and the bottom match and the kilt kind of stands out in the middle on its own and it lets the kilt kind of do its own thing. The other way to think about kilt hose, in my opinion, is tone with one of the colors in the kilt. So if I were wearing this kilt, I would either wear, weathered brown kilt hose, or I would wear like ancient blue or this kind of like stormy blue kilt hose. That would be great. I could wear charcoal kilt hose to match the marled gray in this kilt. Those would be great. And then I would also pick a color for the flashes or for the hose garters to pick up one of the more minor colors in the kilt. So if I was going to wear charcoal hose, I might wear brick red, to pick up on the red stripe. I might wear a light gray for the flashes to just kind of make it, more obvious that color's in the kilt and draw your eye to that color in the kilt. So either top and bottom match or tone with one of the colors in the kilt. Ian.
Should I just to be different say white hose all the time?
Ugh, you monster.
No, I agree. I agree with Rocky. My
Slow motion. Kadoosh.
the tartan I'm wearing is very difficult to get kilt hose in that match nicely in terms of colors to match with the kilt, especially the marled effect going on with the tweed. So I tend to go more the other thing where you can't see them right now, but the socks I'm wearing are a pretty good match to the shirt I'm wearing, which isn't that far off of the kilt as a rule. But ancient green kilt hose and bottle green kilt hose are both just a little too far off of what's going on in my kilt.
Yeah.
But I've done it both ways for sure, and I almost never worn white hose.
There is some pictorial evidence of me wearing white hose when I was young and dumb.
Mm-hmm.
You didn't know any better.
Yeah, I didn't know better, exactly. All right, Allie. So, question of the day. Bring that back up on screen, pretty please. If you had to pick only one tartan, what tartan would it be? So, what were some of the questions from, or the responses from the lovely people in the audience?
Okay, so we've got an Anderson Ancient, Black Watch, Douglas Blue Modern, McNaughton Ancient.
I like Black Watch as an answer for it's very versatile in a lot of different ways. Continue.
So we got a lot of clan tartans. So naturally,
that makes sense.
Montgomery Modern, Appalachian Folklore. Not a clan tartan, but it should be.
Kinfolk clan tartan.
McLaren Weathered, Gordon Red Weathered, which I love, by the way.
So
Thank
weathers.
you.
So give me a general sense. Are people looking for more weathereds, more moderns? What's the general?
I'd say we probably got more weathered and ancients.
Okay.
Yeah, or just like the standard clan name. So unknown.
Yeah.
Few unknowns.
I tend to, as a blankety kind of temperature taking of the audience here, I tend to kind of agree with that. I think that the weathered or ancient would lend themselves to being more versatile for both casual vibe outfits as well as formal vibe outfits. So interesting.
I could go hard in a very different direction. I'm almost surprised you didn't say this when we were addressing the question earlier. I think American Dream would work pretty well for this because it's bright and flashy in a way that looks great with a formal outfit. But most of the outfits people are putting together with it are casual, and as long as you've paired the right colors and you've got the right outfit elements, I think it looks great casual too. I mean, it's hard to say that there's that many tartans that look terrible one way but look great another way.
The only reason the reason I didn't say American Heritage and I stuck to like Scott or old Stuart Old Weathered, and you had like the Kilts and Culture tartan, is because there's more colors in it. If you think about American Dream, there's 3 shades of red and 3 shades of blue, but it's really red and blue, and then a little white and a little yellow. Versus
the question wasn't about the versatility of how many casual outfits you can put together, though.
Understood. So, indeed. So, those are our answers. Those were your answers. I'd still love to hear more answers. Put your answer down below for the question of the day. What tartan would you wear if you could only wear one tartan ever, and why?
And I suppose the secondary question of the day was about the beer brands.
No.
No? Okay, never mind.
No, just one question a day. He doesn't know the rules. He's not on the show. He doesn't.
It's my first time.
It's been a while.
All right. Boys and girls, thank you for joining us. Until next time, Slanjava. Hey guys, thanks for spending the last 2 hours with us. Remember, 2 things. First, if you like bite-sized pieces of Celtic content, we have an entire YouTube channel just about the clips of this show. Go over and check out the Kilts and Culture Clips channel. Also, if you're looking for a community to join and you're not on Facebook, we actually have a subreddit. So go over to reddit.com and check out the Kilts and Culture subreddit and come join us for a conversation over there.